Lesson 4, Video 3, Setting up the gradebook using the type or category method. Open your course and then go over to the sidebar, the light blue sidebar, and click on Gradebook. And when your gradebook comes up, you have no students in your gradebook at this time in the master class. You might see your name over here as a guest student. You might not, but don't worry about it. What you want to click on first is here where it says, do you want your final grade to include an attendance grade? You want to click no, even if you are going to give your students points or something for attendance or participation. You still want to click no here. So when you click no, that little box goes away and it won't show up again for you. The next thing we want to do is to click on final grade weighting. And final grade weighting is defaulted to the point method. So you want to change this from the point method to the type method. And in order to change that, we're going to come over and click on change weighting method. And then we're going to scroll down, and where it says the type method, we're going to put a little check in that box and it'll show up with a green check in it. So you now see that the current weighting method is the type method. So we've done that. Now we want to go back to the final grade weighting screen and back to the basic grade book. And then we are not going to do anything with evaluations. We want to go down next and click on letter grade ranges. And Jenzabar is defaulted to your basic 10-point spread A, B, C, D, F. If you use something different, you will click on the letter, like say I wanted to have 92 before a student could get an A. So I would click on the A box and I would click on the grade starts at, and I would change that to a 92. And then I would click save, and then you see my A went from 92 to 100. Automatically, the B, C, and D's, well, the B is changed 80 to 91.9. Now, if I wanted to change where my B started, I could click on the B and change that, say, to 82 or whatever I wanted to do. But all you have to do is click on the letter box and then change it to what you want it to be. And that basically sets us up with this part of the grade book. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go to coursework and set up our coursework. And then once we get to the coursework page, we want to click on manage units and types. Now, if you are subdividing your course into units, topics, or weeks, you need to add those next. Here where it talks about units, what you would do, it's defaulted to Unit 1, which lasts the whole term. And what you can do is you can click on the Edit Delete. And if you're going to use units, say I'm going to use units, but Unit 1, and I might have it the background to the Constitution. And if I want that unit to be visible to the students the entire semester, which I usually do, I just leave the date range blank, and that would be for a unit that lasts the whole term. Now, if you only wanted the students to see this information for a specific period of time, you could put you a beginning date and an end date. The description is also optional if you wanted to put that in. But I'm going to leave mine open the whole semester, not going to put a description in. And then I'm just going to click Save Changes. And you will notice that now my name is changed to Unit 1, the background of the Constitution. And then I want to add another unit. I just go up and I click on the Add a Unit, and my Unit 2 Could be the legislative branch. I'm going to leave my date range open the whole time, and I'm going to click add a unit. Now, leaving my date ranges open for the whole term, students will still not be able to get into an assignment until you say they can. When you create your assignment, you will have a beginning date for that assignment. Having these units open the whole term will not enable them to get in before that due date. So I would go through and I would just, enter all my units or all my weeks or all my topics that I want to use here. And then the next thing I want to do is to go down and on my types, these are basically going to be my categories that I will use for the class for grades. Jenzabar is defaulted to these 8. You can do away with some. You can do away with all of them but one. Let's say I want to use mine. I'll say I only have 4 categories that I'm going to lump grades into. I can delete any of these categories, and I don't have to keep these names on them either, so I'm not worried about the name at this point for the type. So I want to get rid of, let's see, there's 8 of them here, so I want to get rid of 4 of them. I just click on the trash can, click OK, and I'm just going to get rid of the top 4. And then that leaves me 4 types or categories. And say I want to change the name, and here's where you could put you a participation category in if you wanted to determine what percentage eventually that you will count participation towards their semester grade. But I'm just going to change the names, and to change the names all I have to do is click on the pencil, and it will have the type name, and say I want to type in, say I've got forums that I'm going to have students complete for grade. So I want a forum category. I want a chapter quiz category because I'm going to have several chapter quizzes. And I want a midterm exam. And then I want a final exam. And if I want to add more types, I can go up and click add a type and type something in and save it, and it would put it down here. Now, if I want these types to come in any particular order, say I don't like it coming in the way it is here because I got my final exam second, I actually want it to go down below midterm exam, I can click on type ordering and click on order my types manually, and then you see these little up and down arrows by. So I want to move my chapter quizzes up to the top, and then I want my final exam on the bottom, and I'm happy now with the order that I have these in, and I can just click on done reordering. So I am now back to this point. Now you notice nowhere did it ask me what percent do I want any of these categories. One thing you have to do is you have to put at least one assignment in each one of these categories before you can put the percentages in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up and we're going to create some assignments, some what I call placeholders assignments to put in so we can go ahead and set up our percentages here at the beginning of the course. So in order to do that, I'm going to go up here back to my coursework, and I'm going to add an assignment. And I'm just going to use basic format. It doesn't matter what I use to start with. I can change it later and say I'm going to use a forum number 1. I can pick which unit I want that form to go in, and I want it to go in Unit 1. The type is going to be required. This assignment is a required assignment. And then here is where it's not a chapter quiz, it's a form. But if I click on this little down arrow, I can choose from the list of the types of assignments that I have. So I'll put it in forums. And then I can put a due date in here, and I'm just going to make up a due date here, March the 31st. I'll leave it at 11:55. I want to make it viewable now. I'm going to grade it out of 100 points. Or say, no, my forms, I usually give them 20 points, and I usually have 5, and it all adds up to 100. So out of 20 points, I can, do my other things in here that I do. If I actually had a forum, I would do the forum assignment. So I would fill all this out, and then I would save my assignment. But this placeholder, see, it saved it as forum number 1, and it's in the forum type. So now what I need to do is go and add some more assignments. One assignment for each of those categories. So this is going to be my midterm exam. And I would have it on whatever the last unit I had would be. It's required, and it's going to fall under midterm exam. I'm going to put just a due date, the same due date. I'll open it now. And again, here's where if you put a specific date to open the assignment, even though those units are open for the entire semester, the student would not be able to get in and take the test or do the assignment until it opens. I'm going to grade this one out of 100 points just for, and then I would go down and fill out the rest of my information. But this is just a placeholder, so I'll just click save. I'm going to add another assignment because I need one for each category. I'll be Chapter 1 quiz. And that's going to be in Unit 1. It's required. It actually falls under the chapter quiz. I'll do my same due date. I'll do it now. Grade it out of 100 points. And then I have one more assignment, which is going to be my final exam. So this will be my final exam. I'll drop that one under final exam. Put my due date in and time. Open it now or later or on if you want to put that in. And I'm going to do it out of 100 points. Save my assignment. Now I have at least one chapter quiz in, one forum, one final, one midterm exam. And whatever unit that would show up in is where it would be. I just happen to put the chapter 1 quiz and the forum 1 in Unit 1 and the final and midterm in Unit 2. Now I can go back and put my percentages in. And to put your percentages in, all you have to do is go back and click on the grade book. Then when you click on the grade book, you can see over here that says items with missing weights. You need to enter weights for, and I've got my 4 different categories show up because I have assignments in all 4 categories now. So I just can click any of these. It all goes to the same place. So I'll click chapter quiz. And then here's my final grade weighting. My chapter quizzes are going to be worth 25%. And I could have 20 chapter quizzes. All averaged out, they would still only count 25% of my total grade. My final exam, say I want it to be 25%. My forums, I want to be 25%. You can have any percentage in here that you want as long as they finally total up and average to 100%. and then notice that it changes color and I can click Save Changes. So now I have my percentages set up. And when I go and I enter assignments, the real thing instead of the placeholder, I can go back to coursework and there's my assignments. I can delete these assignments as I enter in at least one of these assignments to take its place. So if I had that chapter 1 quiz and I wanted to delete this and actually make a quiz using the the quiz format or the test format, when I click on add assignments, I could do that. And I could do an online test format, and I could actually go through the process of making out a little online chapter test. We will cover testing in a later lesson. But that's all there is to setting up the grade book to use it using the type or category method.